Namaskar students. Hope you are hale and hearty, taking care of your health and your studies. My name is Jyotsna and I am from Education Department, Chandigarh. Do you know that there are around 5,000 towns and around 27 big cities in India? Big cities like Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai and Delhi. You know, there are millions of people who are living there, living and working. We often get to hear that city never sleeps. Yes, that's what we are going to do today. Our topic of discussion today is urban livelihood. It belongs to grade 6 book of Social and Political Life. It is chapter number 9. So without wasting any time, let's get going. So in today's session, I will take you on a trip. Like, this is a city where my cousin lives. I've been here only a few times. It's very big. Once, when I came here, my cousin took me around. We left the house early in the morning. As we turned the corner onto the main street, we saw that it was already buzzing with activity. The vegetable vendor was busy arranging tomatoes, carrots and cucumbers in baskets at her stall so that people could see what she had to sell. Next to her stall was a lovely colorful that sold all kinds of flower. We bought a red rose and a yellow rose. On the pavement opposite, we saw a person selling newspaper with a small crowd of people around him. Everyone wanted to read the news. Buses whizzed past and there were auto rickshaws filled with school children. Nearby, under a tree, a cobbler sat taking his tools and materials out of a small tin box. Next to him, the roadside barber had begun his work. He already had a customer who wanted an early morning shave. A little way down the road, a woman was pushing along a cart with all kinds of plastic bottles, boxes, hairpins, clips, etc. in it, while another person on a cycle trolley was carrying vegetables to sell to people in their houses. We came to a place where rickshaws were standing in a row waiting for customers. We decided to take one to the market, which was about 2 kilometers down the road. So the one we took was Bachchu Manji, a cycle rickshaw puller. So Bachchu Manji had come from Bihar, where he had worked as a mason. His wife and 3 children lived in the village. They didn't own land. In the village, he did not get masonry work regularly. So the income that he earned was not enough for his family. So, like Bachchu Manji, a large number of people in the city work on the streets. In survey of Ahmedabad, it was found that 12% of all the workers in the city were people working on the street. They sometimes sell things or repair them or provide a service. They work on their own. They are not employed by anyone and therefore have to organize their own work. They have to plan how much to purchase as well as where and how to set up their shops. Their shops are usually temporary structures. Sometimes just some boards or papers spread over discarded boxes or maybe a canvas sheet hung up on a few poles. They may also use their own carts or simply a plastic sheet spread on the pavement. They can be asked to dismantle their shop at any time by the police. They have no security. There are certain parts of the city where these hawkers are not allowed to enter. Vendors sell things that are often prepared by home by their families who purchase clean, sort and make them ready to sell. For example, those who sell food or snacks on the street prepare most of them at home. So there are almost 1 crore street vendors in the country. Working in urban areas, street vending was till recently looked upon only as an obstruction to traffic and to people walking. However, with the effort of many organizations, it is now recognized as a general benefit and as a right of people to earn their livelihood. The government is thinking about modifying the law that banned street vendors so that they have a place to work and that there is also a free flow of traffic and people. Hawking zone have been suggested for towns and cities. It has also been suggested that mobile vendors should be allowed to move around freely. Hawkers need to be part of the committees that are set up to take these and other decisions relating to them. So when we went to the market, there we reached and we saw that the shops were just beginning to open. But the place was already crowded because of the festival season. There were rows and rows of shops selling sweets, toys, clothes, footwears, utensils, electronics, etc. There was a dentist clinic at one end as well. So my cousin had an appointment with the dentist. We went there first so that we would not miss our turn. We had to wait for a while in a room before we were called. The dentist examined her and asked her to come back the following day to get a cavity in her tooth filled. My cousin was scared because she thought the process would be painful and was upset that she had allowed her teeth to go bad. From the dental clinic, she took me to a new garment showroom because I wanted to buy some ready-made clothes. The showroom had 3 floors. Each floor had different types of clothes. We went to the 3rd floor where clothes for the girl were kept. So from there we went to the factory workshop area. So I wanted to have zari work done on one of my dress, which I needed for a special occasion. My cousin said that she knew Nirmala, who works in a garment factory. Nirmala's neighbors do zari work and embroidery. So we caught a bus and headed towards the factory area. The bus was really crowded. At every stop, more and more people got on and hardly anyone seemed to get off. People were pushing each other to make some space for themselves. My cousin guided me to a corner so that we would not get squashed. I wondered how people travel like this every day. As the bus entered the factory area, people started getting off. We also got off soon at a crossing, and what a relief it was. There were a large number of people sitting on the railings or in the groups at the crossing. They seemed to be waiting for someone. Some groups had people on scooters standing by and talking with them. My cousin explained that this place was called Labor Chowk. These were daily wage laborers who work as helpers to masons. They dig at construction sites, lift loads or unload trucks in the market, dig pipelines and telephone cables, and also build roads. There are thousands of such casual workers in the city. We entered the factory area to find it full of small workshops. There seemed to be endless rows of them. In one section, we saw people working in a small room on sewing machine where cloth was being stitched. One person operated one sewing machine. Clothes that had been stitched were stacked on one side of the room. We located Nirmala in the stitching unit. She was happy to meet my cousin and promised to get the zari work done on my dress. So, from there, we moved on to the office area where my aunt Sudha works as a marketing manager. She had asked us to reach her office before 5:30 p.m. We thought we would get late, so we took an auto rickshaw that managed to get us there just in time. Her office was in an area surrounded by tall buildings. There were hundreds of people coming out. Some headed for the car park while others went towards a row of buses. My aunt is a marketing manager in a company which manufactures biscuits. The factory where the biscuits are made is outside the city. She supervises the work of 50 salespersons who travel to different parts of the city. They get orders from shopkeepers and collect payments from them. She has divided the city into 6 regions, and once a week she meets the salespersons of each region. She checks their progress report and discusses problems they face. She has to plan the sales in the entire city and often has to work late and travel to different places. She gets a regular salary every month and she is a permanent worker with the company. She can expect her job to continue for a long period of time. Being a permanent worker, she gets other benefits such as saving for old age, holidays, medical facilities for the family. But there are many workers in the city who work in offices, factories, and government departments where they are employed as regular and permanent workers. They attend the same office or factory regularly. Their work is clearly identified. They get a regular salary. Unlike casual workers, they will not be asked to leave if the factory does not have much work. At the end of the day, we got into my aunt's car exhausted. But it had been so much fun. And I thought how interesting that so many people do so many different things in the city. They've probably never met each other, but it is their work that ties them together and helps to make up city life. So from this journey, we can jot down certain points like urban livelihood. There are a large number of people in the city who work on streets. Around 12% of all the workers in the city were people working on the street. They sell things or repair them or provide a service work on their own. They are not employed by anyone. They have to organize their own work. They have to plan how much to purchase, where and how to set up their shops. Shops are usually temporary structures. Just some boards or papers spread over discarded boxes or a canvas sheet hung up on few poles. They may also use their own carts or simply a plastic sheet spread on the pavement. And they can be asked to dismantle their shops at any time by the police, and they have no security. There are certain parts of the city where these hawkers are not allowed to enter. Vendors sell things, often prepared at home by their families who purchase clean, sort, and make them ready to sell. Almost 1 crore street vendors working in urban areas. They often act as an obstruction to the traffic and to the people walking. So this is now recognized as a general benefit, right of people to earn their livelihood. Government is actually thinking about modifying the law that banned street vendors so that they have a place to work and that there is also a free flow of traffic and people. Hawking zones have been suggested for towns and cities. Also been suggested that mobile vendors should be allowed to move around freely. Hawkers need to be part of the committees set up to take these and other decisions relating to them. And then we talked about the market. Many people own shops in various markets of the city. It may be small or large and may sell different things. Business persons manage their own shops or business. They are not employed by anyone. They do employ a number of other workers as supervisor and helpers. So these are permanent shops. They have taken a license to do the business by the municipal corporation. Municipal corporation decides on which day of the week the market has to remain closed. Market also has small offices and shops that provide services such as banks, couriers, and others. And from there, we saw the factory workshop area. So the place called Labor Chowk had daily wage laborers who work as helpers to the masons, dig at construction sites, lift loads or unload the trucks in the market, dig pipelines and telephone cables, and also build roads. Thousands of such casual workers in the city. Most workers in the factory are employed on what is known as casual basis, required to come as and when the employer needs them. They are employed when the employer gets large orders or during certain seasons. Other times they have to find some other work. These are not permanent jobs. If workers complain about their pay or working conditions, they may be asked to leave. So no job security or protection is there. There is ill treatment. They are also expected to work very long hours. Let's talk about the office area now. So people working in the offices draw a regular monthly salary. A permanent worker with the company expects the job to continue for a long period of time. Other benefits of permanent workers like saving for the old age. Part of the salary is kept in the fund with the government. They can earn interest on these savings, and then they get holidays, mostly get off on weekends and national holidays, get some days as annual leave, medical facilities for their family, and then they have company who pays the medical expenses up to a certain amount. They also get medical leave, and their salary is also not cut on these kind of leaves. So, these are the different kinds of urban livelihoods we see around us every now and then. On your screens, you will find certain questions or statements. Along with that, you have 4 options. So, you have to pick the correct option. So, let's begin. Let's try to analyze what we have learned out of today's session. Who is Bachchu Manjhi? He's an engineer, dentist, rickshaw puller or a teacher. So, Bachchu Manjhi in the chapter is rickshaw puller. According to the survey in Ahmedabad city, how many workers work in the street? 10%, 12%, 14% or 15%. So 12% is the correct option. These are the number of people who work in the street. If we feel a problem in our teeth, where should we go? To a physician, to an orthopedic, to a veterinary clinic or to a dentist. So, if we feel a problem in our teeth, we go and meet a dentist. Where are ready-made clothes sold? At garment shop, at shoe shop, at chemist shop or at none of these. So, the ready-made garments are sold at the garment shop. Most of the businessmen are self-employed, employed by others, both A and B, and none of them. So, most of the businessmen are self-employed. Where do laborers on daily wage wait with their tools? Labor Chowk, Ramlila ground, cinema halls or none of these. So, the laborers who work on daily wages, they wait at the Labor Chowk. So, the correct option is option A. What benefits does Sudha get along with her salary? Saving for old age, gets off on Sundays and national holidays, medical facilities and all of these. So, the correct option is all the options given above are the facilities Sudha gets along with her salary, which includes savings for the old age, offs on the weekends and national holidays and medical facility. Everyone wants to be strong and self-sufficient, but only few work to make it happen. That's what Mahatma Gandhi had said. We are all struggling to survive. Ones who focus and achieve their goals actually make it happen. Government of India is launching various programs to build the skills of its citizens. We must come forward to make ourselves self-sufficient, because together we can and we will make it happen. We'll be back with many more videos. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy and keep learning. Namaskar.